Hey folks, this is my 63 Ford Falcon convertible. What I'm doing today is working on replacing some sheet metal inside the car. I've had some serious rust in the floor pan, the front floor pans, as well as on the convertible. There's an inner rocker which provides the strength of the car since there's no roof on it. So let me show you what I've been doing here and kind of showing you the pieces I've been working to put in and what I've had to cut out on the car. So let's take a look at it. Today's project is primarily installing a section of the inner rocker. This here is what is left of about 3 feet of the inner rocker. Again, the inner rocker provides the strength of the car since it has no roof, since this is a convertible. This is a piece of 14 gauge sheet metal that I had made up at a local sheet metal shop. You can buy the whole sections for both sides of the car. It runs about 6 feet or 6.5 feet long or so, as well as an inner stiffener plate that provides more structural strength from some Falcon specialty places. But I chose not to replace the entire piece of the car. It's far too much work and too big of a project, nor did I think it all had to be replaced. Maybe for a future project, but for today, this is what we're working on. So what I did is I cut this section out right here. I took a slice of it right about here. I took it to the sheet metal shop and I had them bend this up. Now, as you can see, this has a radius to it, so that's what I was concerned about. The sheet metal shop initially told me that they would not be able to bend that radius in there smoothly, but for my purposes, they did an outstanding job. And the important thing is, about a five foot section here used to repair both sides only cost me about $35 for parts, material, and their labor. First things first, I am not a body shop. I'm just a guy who likes working on his car. So please don't judge my welding. I'm using a cheapo Harbor Freight MIG welder, and it's doing fairly well for me. So let me show you what I've done or had to do so far. So this here is the original floor pan, and this section all in here was rusted through. So to do the inner rocker, I've cut this section out first. The whole floor pan will eventually come out, but I didn't want to compromise the structural integrity of the car because the floor in this rocker adds all that. So I didn't want the car to sag or bend any more than it may have had over its 50+ year life. So this is the section I cut out right here. This is where the rusted section, it went from here all the way up here to a torque box. And this is the section that I'll be working on today. This section here I talked to you about, there was a stiffener plate. On this car, it was completely rusted through. There was absolutely nothing left other than the weld spots up on here. So what I did is I took a piece of 16 gauge steel and I cut it to fit, and I welded it back in place. These stiffener angles don't necessarily go here, but I put them on because I wanted it to be stronger than what it was. This down here are the remnants of the original outer rocker. At some point in time when I have the car repainted, I will cut the rockers out and I will replace them. But for today, they're good enough. It won't be get painted for maybe the next year or so, so we're just going to leave them as it is. So this piece here on the original one would go all the way to the bottom and would form the welding point for the bottom of the outer rocker panel. When I replace those rockers at some point in time, I'll fabricate a small piece that goes down here and ties everything together. These here are just some strength here. This piece here was done by a previous owner. They made a repair here to the car. It's not supposed to be there, or not supposed to be like that. Again, when I do the inner rockers and such, this piece will get cut out, but for today, it's going to stay there. This here is the section of the floor pan that I will be cutting out in the future, and I don't want to remove that, like I said, until I weld in the new inner rocker piece that goes right here. This piece right here, again, somebody else over the life of the car welded in a second floor pan. It's beneath the original one. I will cut this out when I take out the whole floor pan itself, whether this left front left front floor pan. So just to give you a little better, here are some of the things. This hole is supposed to be here. This hole was rust I cut out. I will patch in later. This hole was rust I will patch in once I put the inner rocker piece back in. So let me kind of dry fit the inner rocker and let me show you how it's supposed to look when all is said and done. So here you can see I've just dry fit the cut piece of the sectioned in inner rocker panel here. Right here, I've already, like I said, it came here with this radius bent in it and this angle here. I've already cut holes or drilled holes in it for the plug welds. As you see, I'll weld it in here and it will get tied in up to the front torque box at the front of the car. Okay, so this is what we've done so far. If you take a look, here is the inner rocker that I've welded in, and I've tied it in up here at the front of this torque box here. I can see I've cut out more of the floor as well too. So this part right here is not the toe board. This part right here is a part of the torque box. The torque box was used on early convertibles in order to stiffen the frame and make sure that there was no roll or flex in the unibody. So this is supposed to come all the way over here and tie into here, as well as tie into this part here too. So that was all basically rusted away. So I'm going to have to fabricate a piece of metal that will go from here and tie into here. Then the toe board will sit on top of that. As you can see right here, here's the top of the toe board. The toe board will come here. It will sit over the top. This is part of the frame here. We'll weld it in here and we'll fix all this stuff in here. So this is the progress that I've made so far. As you can see, I have the toe board cut apart and cut in place. This is the original floor up here and over here, and this section here obviously is the new toe board. Tied it in here, it's in right here. When I have the new floor pan, it'll go in this section here. But so far it's been pretty standard, straightforward with regard to doing this kind of work. The only major modification is having to cut the toe board around the inner rocker that you could see right here. But a lot of work to go yet. I intend to have the floor cut out very soon. Remember, this is the piece that shouldn't be here. It was placed in here by a previous owner. We'll cut that out and the new floor pan will cover this area right here.